Lovely. So welcome to the Women's Health and Hormones class. We've already done a poll and seen lots of common symptoms that come up for us all. So hopefully we'll find some ways, proactive ways that we can support um, hormone balance naturally. So I'll just start by sharing my slides. Okay. So just a little bit about hormones in general. Hopefully you can all see that. If you can't see it, just somebody unmute and let me know. Otherwise, I'll just carry on. So hormones are your body.
Sorry, Rachel, we can't see it.
Can't see it.
Can't see it.
Okay, thank you. Try again. Okay, can you see that okay? Yeah, I just didn't click the button, did I?
All good.
All good. Oh, where would I be without you all? Great. So what are hormones? They're basically, they affect every single body system, organ, and they work in conjunction with each other. We've had hormones since we were tiny cells, and they've helped with our growth and development, our metabolism, our sexual function, our ability to reproduce, and our mood. And it's made up of our endocrine glands, our endocrine system, which is composed of pituitary, pineal, thymus, thyroid, and adrenals, and pancreas. So they're all connected. So a lot of the symptoms that maybe we have an issue with our thyroid are related to our endocrine system. Hormones are powerful, and it takes only a tiny amount to make major changes in our cells or even our whole body. That's why too much or too little of a certain hormone can be really detrimental and can often cause many of the symptoms that we may be finding difficult. Before we go into some natural ways that we can balance hormones, for those who are not familiar with essential oils, we just wanted to show that anything tonight that we talk about, we are recommending doTERRA essential oils because they are 100% pure, they're certified pure, tested grade. Sometimes you can buy essential oils and they'll say 100% pure, but it'll contain 5%. That's sort of the minimum they're allowed to do, and the rest could be synthetically made and adulterated. And there's no sort of standards on that. So just be aware that when you're using essential oils, we want 100% pure because we want it to have the optimum effect for us. That's why we advocate using doTERRA essential oils, because they are sourced where they naturally grow in the world in the most desired environments, for the plant to be the potency to be at its best for therapeutic effects. So that is doTERRA oils. And we're going to look at sort of 4 pillars to help with our hormonal balance. Reducing our toxic load, nutrition and self-care, supporting hormone balance, and the symptom support as well. But obviously, if we get the top 3 right, the symptoms will be a lot less. So just a little bit about why or why hormonal imbalances, the effects that it'll have on us. Just in general, when we're very healthy and everything's working, our body is constantly trying to balance all the time, and our body knows how to heal. So what's the good news is we can control of our health, take control. We can balance things out better, and we can be in control. So just a little bit about the cells. If you can see the cell here, they are constantly scanning and balancing our chemical levels. But the unfortunate thing is, in the modern world that we live in, toxins can block our cell receptors and disrupt communication, which will cause hormonal imbalances. That's one of the reasons. And then you get these kind of symptoms. You may have excess facial hair, hair loss, overproduction of breast cells, hot flushes, headaches, water retention, poor sleep, depression, and it's all related to various imbalances in our hormonal system. So what we want to do is get back that balance. Now, xenoestrogens, I don't know if anyone's heard of these. These are a synthetic compound that mimics the natural estrogen that's in our body. This can overstimulate our normal body functions. I don't know if you've heard of estrogen dominance. These can cause so many problems, as you can see here. A lot of these things, even things like early Menstruation, premature menstruation. We're seeing a lot more girls nowadays starting earlier and early, aren't they, with the periods. And one of the reasons for that is xenoestrogens in our everyday life. We can't get away from them. We can reduce them, and we'll show you how to do that. But unfortunately, they're mimicking natural estrogen, so it's sort of pushing that natural thing quicker, or causing overstimulation of things. So we're going to look at where we find xenoestrogens and how we can sort of reduce as much as we can. So they're found in everyday things, everyday cleaning chemicals that we may use, perfumes, beauty products, medications, some things in food, the plastics that surround food, and things like that. So there's a lot what we can do to try and reduce our toxic load in our home, because these kind of things contain many xenoestrogens, and if it's going in our skin, or we're breathing it in, or our children are walking on the floor and we've just cleaned with any of these, we're taking the xenoestrogens in. So what we want to do is try and sort of detox our cleaning cupboard. That's one of the things we can do, and using natural products, using things like, we've got a green cleaning class as well if you wanted to join that at some point, using white vinegar, essential oils, all the lovely natural things, and you'll generally go down to a few spray bottles instead of all these things. So on average, a woman can put 168 chemicals on their bodies every day. So that's quite shocking, isn't it? Personal care products contain these endocrine disruptors, things like phthalates, which is a family of chemicals, and these can really cause gender bending issues with males and females. So it can really knock us off balance there. So it's really shocking, and I suppose one of the popular things for young girls is to use all these products when they're young, and this is one of the reasons maybe why they have excess estrogen, or they have early symptoms of menstruation, and also uncomfortable symptoms of menstruation, maybe really high mood swings and things like that. So it's really important that we can try and sort of clean up everything that's going on our skin. We know that if you've been to a different essential oil class, we know that if we use essential oils topically, it gets absorbed into our skin in a good way and into our bloodstream, and can have a real positive effect. So if we're using these chemicals, it's going to be absorbed into our skin and then our bloodstream, and affecting our endocrine system the same way. So here are some simple swaps that we can use to reduce our toxic load. We can do many DIY things like make your own body butters, skincare. We can scent our home with using beautiful oils in our diffuser. There's some great diffuser blends. So we don't need to rely on anything chemical, and it can be done very cheaply. People make their own deodorants, but there's also natural solutions with deodorants. And just everything that goes on the skin and on the scalp, just be careful of what we put on and what stays on there. One of the top things I would say, if you're thinking of reducing your toxic load, is to start where you put what you put underarm, because that can really affect, it's close to our lymph nodes and everything. So it's really important that we don't block anything, and that's one of our detox pathways as well. So we want to make sure that we're using natural deodorant that's not going to block anything. So yeah, there's lots of recipes available, and doTERRA do natural deodorants as well as a few other kind of green companies. So it's good to start there, I would say. Just looking at the lifespan of our hormones, when you look at like our childbearing years, from the start of our cycle right up to perimenopause, you can see there the estrogen levels are quite up and down, but balanced in a way. As your cycle goes through the 4 stages, it's balanced. And then we get to perimenopause, and look at that, you've got them big massive dips which can cause problems. And yeah, generally we find most common from people we speak to is that generally they've got too much estrogen in their bodies and too little progesterone, which can cause many of these problems. And obviously things like a lot of stress in our life, lack of exercise, and poor diet can also enhance these symptoms as well. And as you can see, when it comes to postmenopause, you can see how much our estrogen dips there right down. Okay, I think I've gone the other way. There we go. So there is support out there, and one of the things that we recommend is um sort of essential oils that can help. And one of the ways that essential oils can help, I'm just going to read it. We know that essential oils aren't miracle workers. No essential oil can stop the natural decline in hormone levels that comes with age, because it's a natural, unavoidable psychological process. We are going to get a dip in our hormones. But what we can do is essential oils they're not hormones, but what they can do is ease the way for us. They can help balance hormones. And many symptoms during this transitional period, or whatever period we're up to in our life cycle of hormones, can be alleviated with the power of essential oils. But most important is reducing chronic stress, revamping our diet and exercise, ridding our environment of toxic chemicals, which we talked about, and xenoestrogens will help to normalize our body as much as possible. And this will help us to achieve hormone balance, and our ebb and flow will fluctuate as it's meant to be. So I'm going to show you some single essential oils that can help. But for now, just to know that there is a women's health kit available, which includes Claricalm, which is a blend I'll show you in a minute of about 7 essential oils that can really help support hormonal balance. But we also have a phytoestrogen supplement, which helps to balance estrogen levels. It helps to detox some of those xenoestrogens out the body. And then we also have a bone nutrient complex, which contains things like magnesium, which we know is so important for helping with sort of PMS symptoms, as well as vitamin C, D. And they're all bioavailable vitamins and minerals, so they're not sort of synthetically made. Our body absorbs it really well. And it helps with our bone density as well, which is important not only as we age and you think of like the common problems where there's a lot more women having hip replacements as they get older. Bone density is a real issue, isn't it? But also for teenage girls growing up, often the diet's a bit rubbish and they don't eat well, so bone nutrient would be good for them as well to help get everything they need nutritionally. So this is Claricalm, which we talked about. So Claricalm is known as the woman's best friend. It contains clary sage, lavender, bergamot, Roman chamomile, cedarwood, ylang ylang, geranium, fennel, carrot seed, palmarosa, and vitex. So a lot of essential oils there, and also some herbal extracts with the vitex. So these are just amazing. They do so many things. They've got like ylang ylang's got phytoestrogenic properties. Geranium's known to help with liver cleansing. Fennel supports estrogen production from the natural estrogen. And we know clary sage is probably one of the top ones, if you don't already know, to help with hormone balance and easing the tension that comes with it. So it can help with all the sort of PMS symptoms. But if you use it regularly, either applying to the wrist, inner arms, or to the ankles, then what it can do is help to balance. If you start instead of month 1, by month 2 or 3, you will see a definite difference in your cycle, whether it's mood swings, lower hot flushes, maybe your cycle's a little bit more accurate to what it used to be, and things like that. You may find if you're heavy menstruation, if you get heavy periods, then that can be a lot less. So definitely it's something to use on a daily basis to get in the system, and your body can work with the essential oils there to help balance the levels there. But just as and when you need it, like for example, you have maybe, especially young girls get really bad cramping, just roll it under the lower abdomen and all the essential oils can help. They've got antispasmodic properties like the Roman chamomile can really help with pain relief, as well as hot flushes. You can just roll it on the back of your neck. It's really cooling. So there's lots of ways you can use it as and when, but I would definitely say use it on a regular, at least daily basis if you can. Okay, so just want to talk a little bit about progesterone. We talked about estrogen, and we know that we need natural estrogen, but not too much of it. Progesterone is something we need to savor. It's the hormone that helps us to stay calm. It helps us to keep our libido healthy. It helps us with insomnia. It eliminates migraines or reduces them. And it's just it's such a precious hormone that we need to hold on to. And often we find that if we're low in progesterone, it's often because we're in a highly stressed state all the time. Maybe our cortisol levels taking over and stealing the progesterone.
Sorry, Rachel. I can't hear you. I don't know if anyone else can not hear you either.
No, I can't either. You've just gone off and there's just a photo on the screen.
Yeah, same.
Can you hear me now, Joey?
Yeah,
You're back. Can't see you, but we can hear you.
can hear you but can't see you. Yeah.
Can you hear me better now?
Can hear. Yeah, you're back.
Lovely, thank you. Sorry about that. I have got a dodgy lead on my webcam. So yeah, a lot of people have a low-fat diet or a no-fat diet and think that's really good, but it's not good. Can't emphasize enough the fact that we need healthy fats, because things like avocados and walnuts and the good fats, the good cholesterol is the precursor to progesterone. If we don't have this good fat, our body can't produce enough progesterone, and often you find those that have hormonal migraines have not got enough fat in the diet. So a good excuse to eat good fatty things in seeds, nuts, and wherever you can find them if you don't like avocados. Okay, so I just want to talk a little bit about Vitex as well. It's not something that you can sort of get off the shelf. You get it online, you can source it as well, but it is in the Clary Calm, and you can see the herb there growing. It promotes the production of progesterone, so we really need that, don't we, for estrogen dominance? So that can promote balance, can keep the ovaries healthy, and a constitute of Vitex actually interacts with our dopamine receptors and regulates prolactin release. So healthy ovaries from Vitex. So that's just a little bit more information on Vitex if anyone's. I think it's also known as chaste berry as well, if anyone wants to research that. So just as a bit of a summary where we're up to now, because it can be a little bit mind-blowing, but there's 3 types of estrogen. We've looked at estrogen that's naturally produced in the body, xenoestrogen, which is the synthetic man-made estrogen that we find in the chemical products, beauty products, things like that. And there's phytoestrogen found in plants. And we talked about there's a supplement as well as natural phytoestrogens that we can find in our diet. And phytoestrogens can really help to balance the xenoestrogens. So from that, which would you think causes the most problems? You'd be right if you said xenoestrogens. Okay, so just a little bit more about phytoestrogens. When you get confused as to what these supplements, just think of them as fighting the fake estrogens. Okay, they don't add any estrogen to body. They don't mess with our if we're on sort of any birth control pills or anything like that. They don't affect that at all. All they do is sort of detox our sort of xenoestrogens from the body. And help bring the body back into balance. There is a PDF that explains more about it and just how they can work if we're overexposed to these sort of synthetic compounds. Then you can look into it yourself. And obviously, if you're on sort of any sort of hormonal replacement or anything like that, you can take that PDF to your doctor and talk with them about it if you're not so sure. Natural phytoestrogens can be found in these foods as well, so we can add these to our diets. Obviously making sure that things like the soy is organic. I know that can be controversial, but it actually is a really good form of phytoestrogen as long as it's not made what's the word, it will come to me. Sorry, I keep
Synthetically.
Yeah, do you know, like what they call it when they it'll come to me. Not synthetically, it is synthetic, but yeah, when my brain's working, I need frankincense. Okay, so just a little bit on the bone nutrient. As our estrogen declines, it affects our bone density. And this can lead to things like osteoporosis. That's really important, that no matter what age we are, but especially if you're coming up to perimenopause, that we get enough nutrients for healthy bone density, and bone nutrient is one of those. The doctors do prescribe one as well, but we just got to check if it's bioavailable, if it's good quality and absorbable, rather than being synthetic. So just check what you're taking. Okay, so essential oils that can support your overall wellness. There's things that we need to remember. There's lots of symptoms that you mentioned, some of them in the poll: lack of sleep. A few things to remember: is your digestion okay? If you are struggling with hormone balance, if your digestion is not right and you struggle with irregular bowel movement, that is something to get sorted straight away. Because if we're holding on to estrogen and we're not metabolizing it out the body, one of the pathways is for a bowel movement to get rid of that. So if we're not doing that, then things like lemon and Zengest would be important to use on a daily basis to get into that swing again. Liver support is really important. We keep our liver healthy and cleanse that, and there's things that we can use essential oils to help with a healthy liver. I have got a recipe actually for loving your liver. Things like geranium, frankincense, grapefruit, and rosemary are really good. You can use it rolled over the liver area. You can take it internally, and there's things like the endocrine products that are good for helping to cleanse and detox the liver. So that would be really good. You got to think of our hormones as our hormone sort of body as a dirty house full of clutter. And if we can do as much as we can to clear the pathways, like think if there's loads of stuff on the stairs and you're tripping over stuff, that's like our hormonal sort of landscape in our body. If everything's working right, if our digestion's right, if our liver's working right, and we're getting enough sleep, then it can work a lot better and function a lot better. So things like healthy digestion, doing some nice gentle cleansing and liver support can really help with those body organs and body systems. I just wanted to share some of the top oils. We looked at Claricam, which is a blend, but if you're into more single oils, these are some of the top ones that we can use to support hormone balance. So we said one of the top ones is clary sage, but do not underestimate the power of lavender to help to calm anxiety, to help if we are stressed, it can help to sort of rebalance our hormones and relieving discomfort, because it is a natural pain relief as well if we're facing sort of discomfort with, cramps. Ylang ylang is a lovely one. Not only it helps with healthy heart, but also hormone balance and libido. Geranium is often a favorite one of many women, and we know the reason why. It's calm and it's grounding. It can alleviate pent-up stress. And bergamot is just such a good all-rounder. If anyone hasn't tried it yet, it's great at increasing our dopamine and serotonin levels if we breathe it in. And obviously frankincense, it supports all our body systems, all our cellular function, and we think we're made up of all the cells. So if we're taking frankincense, we will definitely feel a difference in our whole body. I just wanted to share as well some recipes for hormone support if you want to make your own recipes. There's many of them, but I just picked the top 3 that I thought might be good for you. So a stress relief rollerball blend, which is often some of the common ones that we use is like lavender, frankincense, and wild orange. So we can make a roll up with that. Brain fog be gone. So if you struggle with brain fog and you want to focus and alert and have more be more alert, should I say, then you would apply that behind the ears, back of the neck, to temples. But also we're applying it topically, but if you were to roll it onto your hands and take some big deep breaths, that can also really help as well. And then the Superwoman roller blend, which is probably similar to the Claricam, but making your own up there if you don't like to get the blends yourself. I think I'll just stop sharing that for now. Yeah, I think that's everything. So I'll just shut that down and open it up to questions. So thank you for listening. Hope you've enjoyed it. Hope you've got some tips on where to start with sort of balancing out things. If anyone got any questions, I'll just stop recording so you can ask private questions, and I'll look in the chat as well.